Hi viewers, immensely pleased once again to meet you through this video. How are you all? I am very much delighted today because I am just going to help you to improve your spoken English. In the midst of learning grammar, as I have mentioned to you earlier, every now and then I will switch over to improving the spoken English also. So if you remember very well, in my previous videos with regard to spoken English, I was trying to tell you, or I was sharing with you, if you want to speak in English fluently, first thing that you must do is to think in English. So that was my observation and that was my advice too, and I suggested how thinking in English can improve one's efficiency in speaking English fluently. Now with regard to that, I am just going to continue my sharing with you in this video how to think in English. You may ask, sir, if you are speakers of English, if our mother tongue is English, surely we can think in English and we can try to speak in English fluently. But what happens to the people who are non-English speaking people, or those whose mother tongue is not English? Your question is 100% correct, but you can imagine, you can think around the world. Do you think that all the people who are speaking in English fluently having their mother tongue as English? Oh, certainly not, my dears. It's by way of practicing, finding ways and means of speaking in English. They have come to that level of speaking fluently in English. So, speaking in English fluently is not at all a matter, provided if the person who wants to speak in English fluently makes lot of efforts trying to find out ways and means of speaking in English fluently through using various methodologies forwarded by people, or listening to commentaries. So that those are the ways that you can think of when you try to speak in English, when you want to speak in English fluently. Okay, dears. So this is what I am just going to help you today. See, learn to think in English. Learn to think in English. I am just going to help you. Sir, help us to think in English. Yes, certainly there are few ways by which you can make a step forward to think in English. So once you begin to think in English, automatically our ideas can come together in English and we can put those words, we can speak those words by which we can slowly increase the level of our speaking in English. Okay guys, so learn to think in English. Now in order to do that, many people would say, many people especially who are non-English speaking people would say, it is not possible, it is not possible. And few would be able to say, or few are still saying, it is too difficult for us. It is too difficult for us. And a few others also may say, I don't know sufficient or enough English words, sir. So I cannot use correct or appropriate vocabulary when I want to speak in English fluently and express my wish to the others. And there are few others also. You can say that I need to think in my native language and then go for the translation, which is all very true. Whatever you say, they are all very true. But if you remember very well, as I said in my previous video, are you the only person who feel this way? No, certainly not. See, forget about all this. Kind of what we call ways and means by which you can feel yourself inferior. Sir, I cannot do this. It is too difficult. I don't have many words to speak in English. I need to translate. I am not a native speaker. So all these difficulties will disappear once you try to think in English. So first of all, you have to build the confidence. That's what I was trying to tell you in the previous videos. So therefore, these are few of the practical difficulties that all of us face who want to improve speaking in English fluently. So don't worry. So you are one among them, and I may be one among them. See, I'm just trying to help you with my experience and with my knowledge, a little bit of understanding about English. I'm just trying to help you. Maybe my way of helping you could help you to speak in English fluently in the future. So with that understanding, I'm just trying to proceed. I'm just suggesting few ideas. How can we go about to speak in English fluently? So those are the 3 or 4 difficulties that usually people face, but don't worry about that. So here are few ways that I have planned to recommend or plan to suggest. Maybe these levels of thinking, levels of going ahead, if a person wants to improve speaking English fluently, they will surely of great help to you. Now, this is the first level. See, this is the first level, level 1. Now, level 1, what does it say? Level 1, what does it say? See, individual English words. Before you start to think or speak in English fluently, you must be able to tell to your mind, okay, I'll try to find certain words. It could be 2-letter words, it could be 3-letter words, it could be 4-letter words. Whatever the words that you know in English, try to think them in English. For example, walk, drink, sing, eat. So all those words. So in order to improve that, the level 1 will understand. So I have given you few situations. So according to the situations, you can think of the few words that you can try to imagine. For example, see, when you wake up in the morning, think of the words. See, how to begin this. When you wake up in the morning, guys, dears, when you wake up in the morning, what are few words that you can think of in English? So what would you do immediately when you wake up? Immediately you think of the word bed. See, read those words by yourself. It's visible. Bed. What are the other words that you can think of? Toothbrush. Toothbrush. Soap. Bath. Bathroom. Bathing. See, and then there are few words like tea, coffee, bed coffee. If some of you wish to have bed coffee immediately when you get up, many would like to have a coffee or tea. So as soon as you get up in the morning, try to think these words along with the raising up from the bed. That to begin with. Think of those words when you are waking up. What about other situations like, see, when you are in school, office, or place of work, think of the words like. So you are in your office, you may be in your school, or you may be working in a big factory or somewhere. So depending upon the place where you work, words related to the situation, you can think those words in English. For example, if you are studying, what are the words that you can think of in your school? The first word could be school, pencil, papers, teachers, school bag, shoes, writing, reading, walking, speaking. So all these words you can think of when you are in school. For example, if you are working in an office, what are the words that you can think of? Maybe if you are going to the office by a car, you can think of the words car or motorbike. As soon as you reach the office, you can think of the words officer, punctuality, sincerity, discipline. So there are many words that you can think of. See, so few words I have written here. You may just go through. Few words I have written here. So depending upon the place where you are, level 1, this could be the starting point for our trying to speak in English fluently. Guys, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. Easily we can try to speak in English fluently. For everything, practice is a must. So as soon as you try to associate yourself with the situation and think of the words along with your job, or in the morning, or wherever you want to work, or wherever you are going, trying to speak to your friends, think of the words related to the situations or the circumstances that you are in. Now level 2, a bit of a higher level of thinking in English. What I have suggested here, or what usually people would say, many people who are very fluent in English or scholars, they would say, think completely in English. After thinking the words according to the situations and circumstances, now try to think completely in English that you are going to speak or you would like to speak. Think completely in English. For example, when you are at lunch in the school, see, these are the words that you can think of. Think completely in English. Think completely. Just go through these words, and I'll come back to that later. I hope it is visible. See? Okay? Of course, you can always go back to my video, read it again. You can get back to the normal situations of improving your English. Okay? So, what does it say here? Think completely in English. For example, when you are at lunch. See, for example, when you are at lunch in the school, when you are having your lunch with your friends, when you are having lunch with your friends in the office, you can think of the food that you are having in your box or carrier, different carrier. Think of the sentences and tell them in a complete sense. So if it is going to be curd rice for you, I am having curd rice for my lunch. See, I am having curd rice for my lunch. I am having tomato rice for my lunch. I am having idlis for my lunch. My friend is having dosa for his lunch. I am having a juice, fruit juice. I am having a bottle of apple juice. I am having a bottle of lemon juice. Or I have noodles for my lunch. See? So all these words that you can think of, and these are already you are beginning to speak in English with full sentences. That is a level 2 of improving the spoken English. Are these words or these sentences are difficult for you? No, not at all, not at all. Very simple. When you are saying I am having curd rice, we know curd rice, we know tomato rice, we know noodles, we know idlis, we know dosas. So trying to identify those words along with the complete meaning, complete sense. See, that is the level 2 of how to think in English in a little bit of improved manner. Okay, improved manner. Now I have another level. We are moving into the third level of understanding how to think in English. So in the third level, we are moving to what is known as functional English. See, functional English. What is that functional English? Just read through. I'll come back to you afterwards. Just read through what is written here. Functional English. What does it say? Functional English. Imagine using English for everything. Imagine using English for everything. Now what do I mean when I say imagine using English for everything? See, for example, think. How would you say that in English? For example, how would you buy a ticket? How would you buy a ticket? So you are supposed to get a ticket from the conductor traveling from one place to the other. So what would you ask to the conductor? Sir, may I have the ticket to the central bus stand? Sir, could I have the ticket, please? See, this is the way that you are requesting your ticket from the conductor. And then maybe you may be traveling along with your friends when you are meeting them together at a restaurant or small little cafe. You can say, would you like to have a cup of coffee? Or shall we have a cup of coffee? Or shall we have snacks before we go home? Functional English. See, this is what is known as functional English. What does it mean, functional English? So you have thought small words associated with your circumstances, and then in the second level you thought of the complete sentences, and now you have come to a real life situations. So you are using the words in full sentences and you are able to speak fluently now. When you are in a place along with your friends or somewhere wherever you are. See, this is how you try to identify yourself, trying to become very fluent in English, guys. So level 3 is what is known as functional English. Functional English. Try to read once again. See? So that is the third level, guys. And then maybe this may be the last level. I have the fourth level here. What have I written here? The fourth level could be what is known as the narrative English. Narrative English. What do you mean by the word narrative? Narration means describing, explaining. And what does it say? Just go through, read it. Read it for a minute, then I'll come back to that. See? Okay? So, narrative English. What do I mean narrative English? So you have become a complete knowledge in English to say that you are able to speak in English fluently. See, first of all, you can try to tell a story. And then speaking for a long time. So if you are trying to tell a story, how would you begin? How do you begin? Take a small story for example. Take a small story for example. You can think of the story. You can think of the story. Maybe a story of a rabbit and a tortoise. A rabbit and a tortoise. See, long ago there lived two creatures. One is a rabbit, another one is a tortoise. Now we all know that rabbit is a creature that moves very fast, runs very fast, and it wants to have a race along with the tortoise. And tortoise, tortoise is a very small creature, very slow moving creature. And with all the simplicity, with all the humility, the tortoise agrees. The turtle agrees. Okay, friend, I am ready to compete with you. Come, let's have a race. Let's have a competition. So, okay, starting point, both of them stand before they start to run. So, as usual, we all know that. See, how does the story end? Rabbit runs fast, tortoise moves slowly. But then what happens? Because of the proud temperament that the rabbit has, it begins to sleep half of the way. So when the rabbit is too casual, too lethargic, tortoise is after all tortoise, no, it can never beat me. So what happens to the story at the end? Tortoise slowly moves and reaches the final point and wins the race. That is the story we can think. Now, so you are beginning to tell a story, small stories. Okay, that is what is known as narrative English. So you can tell a story or speaking for a long time in English or thinking in English in the biggest trip. So thinking in English is the biggest tip. It's not a trip but tip. And you can think of it three ways. What is that? It will increase your fluency. You are becoming more and more confident. And you will speak more clearly without hesitation. If you become a narrative speaker, so those are the few high level intelligence that you have got, that you have possessed. See, you understand that now? So if you try to speak in English fluently by using all these four levels of thinking, so what you must do now? Your fluency increases, and then you are becoming more and more confident day by day, and slowly, who can you compete? Who can compete against you? Who can compete with you? But of course, day by day, the level of our speaking in English will certainly increase. No doubt about that. So, dear friends, viewers, if you are viewing my video for the first time, just watch my video without skipping till the end of the video and think the simple ways that I have suggested. Of course, in this video, it's about spoken English. Other videos about grammar, without skipping too fast or without stopping in the middle, just watch the whole video and try to have a full understanding of what is going on in every video. So, dear friends, and the ways that I have suggested in this video, in order for us to become better speakers of English, try to follow these various levels. So, if you find that they are useful, give a positive comment. Give a comment to me, sir. It was nice there, your suggestions. We have begun to speak in English. So that is how I get satisfaction. I am satisfied. Okay, my helping reaches the people very fast, and they are able to make use of my talent and the suggestions that I have provided. So with this, let me stop this video, guys. So here again, I have tried to help you to understand, to compete yourself, and to become better speakers of in English fluently. So try to make use of these opportunities and become better speakers of English in the future. Bye guys. Thank you. See you next time.